You are listening to Veterans Action Report on KGRA Digital Broadcasting. I'm your host, Nick, coming to you live from St. Paul, Minnesota.
And I'm Andrew Canales, coming to you live from Evergreen, Colorado.
Every day, veterans are struggling with many issues spanning from homelessness to mental health crisis, often leading to 22 veterans a day taking their own lives. There are veterans all around the U.S. leading the fight to help guide our brothers and sisters to a better life. We will bring you stories from all around the country telling tales of veteran struggles and triumph. Every episode benefits veteran-run nonprofits Warriors Next Adventure, helping veterans fight PTSD through recreational therapy and new adventures. And Houses for Warriors, helping solve the homeless crisis, leading veterans to a better lifestyle. I still love that music. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Veterans Action Report. I'm Nick, your host, and Andrew's not with us today, but we have a guest coming on here in a few minutes, Daniel Burnett from Train Like a Ranger. We met in Texas when I was down there doing my tour around the country. Today, we actually have our first sponsor. Steve from X22 Adventures gave us a call, said they wanted to sponsor today's show. He was on episode 3. Go back and listen to him. Steve's an awesome dude. He started X22 Adventures. We're brought to you today by X22 Adventures. They are a fishing nonprofit. They take veterans and first responders fishing down in Lake Okeechobee and a couple other places down in Florida. I went fishing with him when I was traveling around the country doing my tour, and caught a couple bass. We saw some manatees floating around. It was pretty sweet. So he has an amazing adventure that's going to start May 21st in 2022. They are going to be driving around the coast of Florida, starting in Jacksonville, finishing in Pensacola. They have a stop every single day. They're going to be docking and doing like barbecues, restaurants, and they want to have a different veteran riding with them every day. I'm actually going to be flying down there most likely, whether he wants me to or not. I'm just going to sneak on his boat and probably going to go fishing with him for a little bit. And that starts again May 21st through June 15th. They will finish in Pensacola. Now, X22 Adventures is seeking sponsorship. They need a boat. They do not have one yet, and that is going to be one of the biggest pushes to get these guys to really start kicking it up. They are a registered 501c3. Steve is actually, X22 Adventures was the first nonprofit that I helped start after Warriors Next Adventure, of course. And I still can't believe how well he's doing. I love Steve. Go show them some love. Check out x22adventures.org. Steve's an amazing dude, and he's doing a lot of really good work down there in Florida. So I have a little bit of news. So I found out today at the VA that I am cancer-free. Many of you know that I found out about testicular cancer back in late October or early October. Sorry, I had surgery October 4th, and there was another lump. And so there was worry that most likely there was still cancer. Come to find out, it's just a cyst, nothing there. And there was another little lump, and that's just scar tissue. So I'm good to go. I got a little lump in my lungs, but as of now, it's only 1 millimeter, and they don't think it's cancer. So we're good to go. So I am officially cancer-free as of today. So I'm pretty happy to hear that. So thank you, everybody who's been, reaching out to me over the last few weeks, last few months. I actually found out about Veterans Action Report that this show was going to happen the day before my surgery. So it was the hope that I really needed. I'm very happy to be where I'm at right now, and I'm grateful. And, thank you to everybody who's reached out, the phone calls, the text messages, the emails, everything. So I love you guys. Thank you all for the support. Houses for Warriors just got a massive donation. I got to look up exactly who it was. I'm sorry, Andrew. But they got like $60,000 to do some veterans builds for some disabled veterans in the Colorado area. Go check out Houses for Warriors. Every episode benefits Warriors Next Adventure and Houses for Warriors, like it says in the intro. Once we get to the point where we have a decent amount of sponsors rolling in, the majority of that money is actually going to be going towards Warriors Next Adventure and Houses for Warriors. We'd like to pay for the subscriptions and everything like that for like Spotify. There's a bunch of different places to listen. Obviously, if you're listening, you found a place to listen to the show. But for those of you who don't know, we are actually airing live on Warriors Next Adventure Facebook, YouTube, Veterans Action Report Facebook and YouTube, Houses for Warriors Facebook, and KGRA Facebook, YouTube, and the KGRA Digital Broadcasting. If you go to that.com, this show is actually free. KGRA has a membership subscription, but they are amazing enough to give us this show for free. So anybody can go listen to this show live on the radio if you'd like to. You can listen on YouTube, Facebook. There's plenty of different places to listen. after the fact, I upload everything to Libsyn, which Libsyn sends it out to iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spotify. So we're all over that stuff too. It's pretty easy to find us. We have been killing it every single week. I've been looking at Stream Talk Live, and we are top 10 every single week. So I cannot thank KGRA enough for this opportunity. So enough of my incoherent rambling. We're going to get started with our guest today, Daniel Burnett from Train Like a Ranger. He's got some amazing programs. He decided to start this thing out doing personal training, and he helps people get prepped for Ranger School. I'm going to let him explain everything else because he obviously knows more than I do. He gave me a bunch of his programs, and they kicked my ass. And I'm not going to lie, I don't like them at all because they suck. But damn, do they help me out. I gained a lot of weight on his Gym Rat program. Go check it out, trainlikearanger.com. We will bring on Daniel. What's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Nick. How's it going?
Good. So it's trainlikearanger.com. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Daniel Burnett. I'm from, I'd say Waxahachie, Texas, for the most part. Enlisted in the military in 2011, where I became an Army Ranger. Served with 1st Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment for about 4.5 years. And then I got out, went to school, and got my degree in kinesiology with a minor in biology. And you know what's funny about
we were smart too.
Yeah, well, so, don't give me too much credit. I did get a degree though. And while I went to school, I worked as a personal trainer and nutrition coach. So that's where I got my personal trainer cert, nutrition cert, and then I got my degree. And when COVID kicked off, I started my own online business as a way to make extra money. It actually, when I started it, it was not intended to be the primary, but ended up becoming the primary, which was absolutely incredible. It's been an incredible journey. I went on to get my strength and conditioning certification, which in the fitness world is pretty high end. I've put a lot of work into my website, my products, programs, and we just keep expanding. And when I say we, I hired on a buddy of mine from Ranger Regiment. We came up together from basic training, ended up like all the way to Ranger Regiment, ended up in the same company. Nice. So this guy was a groomsman in my wedding, like James Toney. So shout out to James. He's been amazing, man. Once I got him on, we just started creating more and more. And
dude, the one thing I got to tell you, you need to start charging more for your programs, man. Seriously. So for those who don't know, right? Obviously I want you to explain your programs a little bit more, but the programs that I got, he types up these extremely informational PDFs with like step-by-step stuff, amazing detail. And you're such a great writer. I actually might reach out to you soon. I'm working on a program and I need some help with writing, and you're way better than I am. So I might contract you out, dude. But I've never learned so much from reading a PDF, and the Gym Rat program helped me out a lot. I know how to lift and everything. I've been doing it for quite a while, but I learned a lot from that. A lot more than that I didn't know. And I still can't believe that you're only charging like $35 for your Gym Rat.
Yeah, it's $39.99 for most of my programs.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
it's an amazing deal. So if any of you guys are talking about losing weight or getting in shape or gaining weight or planning for Ranger School, go check this stuff out, because the one that I shared on Instagram the other day, you actually made a COVID workout with no weights required, correct?
Yeah, it got renamed to the Bodyweight and limited equipment program, so it can be done bodyweight only, or if you have limited equipment, there's options for that as well, like dumbbells and pull-up bar.
Well, I tell people all the time, you don't need a gym to work out. You can lose weight with body weight. You just got to do it properly, and your program's fantastic.
Yeah, because if you think about it, weights are just a way to add resistance. So if you can find a way to recreate that resistance with your body weight, I mean, you can make some pretty incredible strides with just body weight. So, equipment shouldn't be a limiting factor in you guys achieving your goals. James Toney, hey, that program was it was. That was before James came on the team. He reached out to me. He's like, man, you need to make a COVID program because a lot of these guys are stuck at home. And what I had done before was I had put some body weight months in some other programs. to give guys an option, but I had never, like, I had up to that point had not made a bodyweight only program. So when he reached out, I was like, yeah, it's a good idea, you know? So that's why he's here, because he's got all the good ideas. I'm a knucklehead, but I write
Well, that's, you know, when I started expanding with Warriors Next Adventure, like we have, I think, 7 ambassadors and we have 4 board members. And then we have people all over the country that are giving us info here and there. Sorry, I don't know I think a motorcycle gang just drove by. But when you have more than one brain working on something, it's always going to produce something better. So you have somebody,
Absolutely.
you know, giving you ideas, even if it's just the idea, and then you run with it. It's super helpful having people throwing different ideas at you. So
yeah, I've been reading a book recently called Who Not How, and it's like a book for entrepreneurs, and it's talking about, that was a question I kept asking myself for so long, is how am I going to reach more people? How am I going to expand this? And it's not, how is not always the answer. Sometimes it's who, like who else can you bring on, and who can help you create some extra things. Cause you know, I'm skilled in certain areas, but when it comes to like technology, I was just telling you about this, like horrible with technology. Like my wife, she's part of the team too, right? She built this computer for me.
nice.
She's tech savvy, so it's good to have her on as well. Tony definitely does. Yeah, a lot of the content. So
nice. So okay, when did you serve in the Army?
So 2011 to 2016 is when I got out.
Okay. Did you ever deploy at all?
Yeah, I have 3 deployments. 2 to the Middle East, and then I say 3, but the other one was to Korea, which was a good time.
Yeah.
So I had.
I mean, I was deployed to Qatar, so I mean,
yeah.
It was rough, bro. Like they ran out of mint ice cream once a week. It was terrible. So I know Rangers can't always talk about some of their secret squirrel stuff that they did, but are there any stories you could share with us about some of your time overseas?
So I can talk about my first deployment. Second one is one of those things, and it sounds cliche, but it's not one I can share much on. But the first one was just it was also new to me, and it's stuck in my memory because just I remember going out for the first time, and
where were you guys at?
We were in Salerno, Fob Salerno.
Where's that?
East Afghanistan.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So my first time going out, we were getting shot at, and I remember thinking, like, in my head, and I talk about this all the time, like, you think things are going to be scarier than what they end up being in person. Like, it was actually like really fun. I remember thinking, like, I was just like a little kid in a candy shop, like, this is crazy, you know? I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Dudes throwing frags, dudes shooting back. And it was crazy. Like, it was just, I remember having a good time, and that was like, it was a surprising reaction to the situation. So, you know, realistically, I wish there could have been more of that. Like, it was good every time I went outside, you know, and experienced that. So it was just a cool experience. It was real, you know, because you spend all this time training. So when you go out there and you engage in something real, it's just like, I don't know. It's just a neat experience.
It's really strange too. Like my first my third deployment, my second to Iraq, in 2009, 2010, we were in Balad, and they called that Mortaritaville for a reason. We got mortared probably 2-3 times a day on average. I mean, it was my third deployment, so like by that time, I just didn't even care anymore. So like whenever you start hearing the sirens going off, you know, the klaxons, and then the C-rams start shooting off, and you're just like, meh, you know, sitting here playing Rock Band with your friends, and you just like, you stop, like pause the game, boom, you're like, all right, cool, right back to what you're doing.
We're still here.
You know, you just don't care anymore. And then like when I got home, everyone's like, man, it's really strange. Like anytime there's like loud noises or explosions or some shit, you don't do anything. I was like, yeah, I don't really care. Like you experience it enough. We were there for 100 and like just under like 190 days, and we got attacked like 186 days or some shit like that. So it's like we had like 4 days over there we didn't get attacked. So it's just
busy.
Normal.
It's pretty busy.
Yeah, it's strange times. Yeah, I was so. Where is that base compared to Kabul? Because I was in Bagram in 2011, 2012.
I'd have to look at a map, to be quite honest with you.
God, it's driving me nuts. So we're gonna have to rehash this later.
Okay.
I'm curious now. We mainly drove around. So when was that deployment? What year?
That was 2000. I guess that was 2013.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we were there till like I think March 2012 is when we left, and then I got out of the military then because I was tired of deploying every single 5 months. It was getting old to me.
Yeah.
I just couldn't stand it. So after you decided to get out of the military, what was your experience getting out? Because there's a lot of veterans who tend to get out of the military, and that's when the shit really hits the fan because we don't know what to do. What was your experience like getting out of the military?
I think that's a great way of looking at it. Is I think what a lot of people struggle with is you are given a direction for so long that whenever you get out, there's a lot of freedoms, and with that comes a lot of decisions that you are left to make, and you can succeed or fail as much as you can in any of those things. So there's just so many things you could be doing that sometimes I think it gets overwhelming for people, because whereas your scope was as great as those achievements are, they're a lot more narrow. Like there's not a whole lot of things to choose from, right? You can succeed in certain lanes, but whenever you get out, there's so many things I could do. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Who is Daniel Burnett? You know, that was the big struggle, is now that I'm, there's a part of me that's always, a ranger, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not a ranger in the sense of I'm not doing it anymore. So it's like, who is Daniel Burnett, right? Like, what am I going to become? And that was a big struggle for years. And I'm, to be quite honest, I'm still trying to figure it out. I love what I'm doing now. I feel like it's something of substance, something that matters. It pulls me back into something that a demographic of people that I really love. So, I think it's still a struggle for a lot of people when they get out. They're still trying to find who am I? What am I doing?
Yeah. And the cool thing is, man, I think we met. When did you start training like a ranger?
I started training like a ranger, I would say officially May of 2020, but really I had started the social media about 6 months before that. I just, on a whim, I just started it. I was just like, I feel like I need to do this right now. I can't even explain to you why. I just started it. I kept it private for a long time. I was posting some things so that when I opened it, but
so one thing about you are too critical of yourself. The one thing that I remember talking to you about is you are so hard on yourself. Tony Robbins has a video that came out, or a movie that came out, called I'm Not Your Guru. And the opening scenes, he's having a conversation with a guy. There's nothing wrong with having high standards. High standards are good, right? But there's a fine line between high standards and perfectionism, right? Nothing's ever going to be perfect. You have to sometimes just let it go, and you are fantastic at social media marketing, man. Like, especially with all the posts of you and the fake beards and shit drawn on, dude. This shit's hilarious, man. I love it. And you do a really good job of marketing yourself. Your programs are fantastic. Not even just the layout or anything like that. Everyone's going to think I'm just, why are you kissing his ass so much? It's been really cool watching you grow, man, because we've been talking for like a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah, it's coming up on 2 years. Yeah.
Dude, you've grown so much, even just from that point, and so it was really cool watching you explode, right? And then next thing you know, you're doing it full time, and it's just amazing. So it's really cool to see somebody who truly gives a shit actually evolve, because we met in Texas during my tour. And the first one, what was it? It was in Corinth, right? That's when you first came up?
Corinth is when I met up with you, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we went up and we trained with Zach and those guys up at JiuJitsu Tech. That gym was so much fun, dude. And then he gave me, it was awesome. And then the coach gave me a coin. I actually have it sitting right here.
I got it still too.
Yeah, he gave me a purple belt coin, so I keep this right here. So
yeah. How cool is that?
Yeah, this is pretty sweet. It says Jiu-Jitsu Tech, and it's got a purple belt circle around it. It's pretty sweet. It's one of my favorite coins. And then we head down to my sister's house, and we had like a big barbecue and everything like that. We went up to Combat Based Texas with Alan Shabaro.
Yep.
Really, really good interview with Alan Shabaro and Joey Bozick. I can't wait to get this documentary out, man. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not supposed to swear. Sorry, guys. But no, it was a lot of fun meeting you because like you said about me, I truly believe the same about you. Is like it's very rare that you meet somebody on the internet, which is more common nowadays, that you kind of make friends on the internet and then you meet in person and it's just weird, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it was like we were best friends when we finally met up with each other. It's like, you know, we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool to see genuine people, you know, and during my tour, almost everybody that I met was just genuinely good people. This nonprofit continues to show me that the world is a really good place, you know?
Yeah.
But it was fun to roll with you too.
It was fun, man. That the way that you came in, that everything was organized. Like, I know you had bus troubles quite a bit, but despite that, like your ability to adapt and maneuver and make it happen, like I thought you did a great job. I had a lot of fun. And I agree. I think you just have that effect on people too, where when I met you, I felt like I knew you. Like I was like, dude, this is my bro. Like this is my good friend, you know, like immediately. So, but it has been, my internet journey has been both bizarre, but so fulfilling in the sense of, I think you get the energy that you put into it. So,
for sure,
you know, the hate always finds you first. And one of my big mistakes was I addressed it early on, which I think is pretty common. Like, don't address it. Stick to the people who are helpful, who are there to help you grow. And so when I started doing that, and I started plugging in with guys like you and all the other guys that have helped in our network, like it's been a real positive thing. I've grown a lot as a person. And
like military BJJ, you know, them starting that veterans group that we're a part of, you know, that's been a great group. Those guys are awesome. Yeah,
good people. And they just helped me, total stranger, just because. And it's just been so cool. Like you said, it gives me a lot of faith in people and the good in people, and I've grown a lot as a person doing this.
Yeah, sometimes you got to seek it out, like the good folks, but I mean, it's there. You know, you're eventually you're going to get back the energy that you put out.
Exactly.
Right. You're putting out good stuff, you're going to get good stuff back. You know, we met up with, dude, we hit over 2,000 people on that tour. And the problem is I want to reach out to all these people, but it's so many people, you know? And so a lot of the guys from the tour will hit me up randomly here and there. Like me and you, man, we'll go like a month without talking. And then like randomly we'll start bullshitting again. And it's like, that's just how it is sometimes. And then we just randomly back in November 5th, I was up in Saratoga Springs for the Grappling Industries tournament that I was at.
Yep.
And you were supposed to be there and you didn't go. And like, damn it. It was so funny the way that worked out.
Yeah, it's tragic. Yep. Tragic.
Yeah, it was.
So
when did you move up to New York again?
That was in September, like September 1st.
Why did you move up to New York?
This is where my wife's from.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's like polar opposites with, you know, Texas to New York.
Yeah, it seems to be the opposite way of where a lot of people are going, but I love it. I love it here.
Dude, upstate's beautiful though. I love it up there.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
You're gonna have to go hiking with us next time we climb. I think we're doing Whiteface in 2022.
Nice.
Yeah, just come do it with us. We do some jiu-jitsu on top of the mountains too.
All right. You know, I'm down.
Bring some mats with us and shit.
Yeah.
So when is your baby due?
March.
This is your first child, huh?
Yeah. No, life's a
Daniel's
trip,
gonna be a daddy. I'm so happy for you, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a blessing. It's a trip. I can feel the guy moving around now, you know.
It's a boy?
My wife's belly. Yeah.
Oh shit, little Daniel.
Yeah. So
you're gonna try to push him to be in the military?
No, he can do whatever he wants. You know, I'm gonna support whatever it is he grows into what he wants to do. You know what I mean?
Dude, so the joys of being a father, man. Like I had 2 kids, and you know, you got to meet my daughter. She was actually down during the tour, you know, and you can't say she's not my kid. The kid looks just like me. I was like, poor kid, you look just like your dad. You grow a beard, great. You're gonna look my twin. But the best part is, like, you know, that speech that I gave at Combat Based Texas, dude. I've never broken down like that during a speech. I've given my speech plenty of times, probably hundreds of times. I've lost count of how many times I've given my speech and why I do what I do. But for the first time, dude, I lost it during that speech because my daughter was sitting right next to me, you know? And it's like, how do you tell a story about you almost taking your own life in front of your kid, knowing that, like, her knowing that she was alive? And that's like the first time it really hit home for me, because me and her have talked about it. And I was like, just there's gonna be some stories coming out about me, and I just want to tell you first before you hear them from other people. And so I explained it to her, and she's so goofy. She looks at me, she's like, why would you do that? I was like, man, I don't know. She's like, you're kind of dumb. I'm like, thanks, dude. I love you too. But the beauty of it, like I said, that was the first time that it really hit me hard, like what I almost did. I wouldn't have been around anymore to spend that time with my daughter. In the last 6 years wouldn't have happened. And it's like, it made it so much more real. And you look at your kid and you see her doing jujitsu and like training with other grown women, because she's pretty tall, dude. She's like 5'3" right now, 5'2". And she's only 11 years old. And dude, the joy that you get from your kids, man, I can't wait for you to experience, man, because it's one of the best things in the world. First time your daughter grabs your finger and smiles at you, you're gonna cry. Guarantee you. If you don't, you don't have a soul.
Yeah, it was a great speech, by the way. I was
Thanks, dude.
really moved by it. I know we had kind of talked about it before, but when I was in that room, I was like, man,
yeah, no, right.
Yeah, your daughter's great, really funny. She has some funny comebacks and stuff. She's a trip.
She's such an asshole, man. She talks so much shit. Every day it's like a fight. Like most daughters are kind of snotty. Like me and her, it's constant jokes. It's nonstop. Like there was one time I almost punched her in the face because I was just like, I don't know if I should hit you or if I should high five you, because I was talking on the phone and I was talking to her teacher, but I had it on speakerphone. And her teacher was asking me, what's the best way to get a hold of you? He's like, oh, this number. I was like, I run a nonprofit from this phone, so this phone never leaves my side. She goes, your wife left your side. And I'm like,
oh, God.
You mother. I was like, I was speechless. I was like, okay, I got to go. Hung up with her teacher. I looked at her. I'm like, I don't know whether to punch you or high five you, because that was ruthless. Don't ever say that again. But that was pretty good. And I
fist bumped
her. I was like, man, that's evil. Like, you got to be careful saying stuff like that, man. You're gonna piss off the wrong person. I was like, saying it to me is one thing because we joke all the time, but man, yeah. I couldn't imagine saying that to my dad. My dad probably would have punched me in the head.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
she was funny. She was a trip. So it was cool to meet her, and I had a great time again on that tour. I thought it was great. I thought all your speeches were great everywhere you went, but definitely at Shabaro's, I thought that was definitely one of your best speeches. I thought.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you spending a few days with us, dude. That was awesome. We all camped out. You stayed at your sister's house, didn't you? Or was it your parents?
Yeah, it was my dad and stepmom.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we had JJ and Paige staying with us for a little bit. They trained with us a little bit. Those guys are pretty cool too. Paige was awesome. I didn't know her until Shabaro's.
Yep.
And she just comes up to me. She's like, hey, let's roll. She high fives me. I was like, you're Paige, right? She's like, yeah. She's like, I heard you're good at jujitsu. I'm going to choke you out. I'm like, man, this girl must have been in the Army. And so we rolled pretty hard. She was shockingly good.
Yeah. She was
I still tapped her out though. Paige, you got work to do.
Oh, damn. Yeah, no, she was cool. Cool. And then who was the other guy you had with you?
JJ. JJ was a We Defy guy up in Montana, and he's an ambassador now too. I think he's an ambassador. We Defy keeps adding so many people, so it's hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah, I believe he is. I do believe he is.
Yeah, and he was fun to roll with too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the best part about that tour, man, is, like we talked about, just meeting people that we've talked to on the internet for 2 years, and then finally we meet in person, and it's just like we've been best friends. I hung out with you and talked to you the same way I talked to people I've been in the military with for years.
Yep.
And then I told Drew Phoenix, I know it's not his real name, but Drew from A&M Jiu-Jitsu down in Florida.
Yeah,
we got to go roll with him too. Dude, if you ever get down to Florida, you should go roll with him. He's actually just as goofy in person as he is online.
Oh man, he's fun. Yeah,
dude, this guy, I've never met somebody who has a bigger foot fetish, with ankle locks and heel hooks. We hung out for like 2 or 3 days, dude. He was pretty cool too. So, and then I met Frank from Military BJJ. Refused to take a picture with me because he didn't want to be on the internet.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I mean that's fair.
I gave him a lot of crap for that, dude. So what are your goals with Train Like a Ranger? Like, I know, you give a lot of programs for people to help them get in shape and everything like that. But one of the success stories that I really love that you do, man, you share some screenshots of people reaching out to you because you help them prepare for Ranger School. So what got you into that? Obviously you were a Ranger, but what got you into that, and what guided you in that direction?
It made sense. So when I started, the name Train Like a Ranger was there from the start.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, and it was just like the first thing I had thought of. I was like, oh, I'll slap this up. If I think of something else, I'll do it later. And then I kept sitting on it. And all the guys who would come in, it would just be like, I was offering programs to everybody. I was just going to do like a personal trainer thing. But it's like everybody that was coming in was like, hey, how do I prepare for the Ranger Assessment and Selection Program? How do I prepare for Ranger School? And I would get those questions all the time. And I got it so many times. I was like, I'm just going to put out a video so that the next time somebody asks me about this, I'm just going to tag them in this video. So I started the YouTube channel, did a video on it. As soon as I get the question, here it is, and then it just kept happening like that. Like the more I would answer these guys, the more they're like, hey, this guy, because these guys are like asking most of the time, like meme pages and stuff, trying to get information from like a meme page and stuff. So like, so they just, they finally found a guy who was like opening up more to them. They're like, all right, let's go over. This guy's answering our questions. So like, everybody starts funneling in. And I remember the first time, I had opened up the website, opened up the Ranger program. It's really for all special operations, but works really good for Rangers, right? Because there's a lot of Army PT criteria in there and a lot of focuses that I say that I would have focused on. So the first time I had a guy down the road say that he sent me a screenshot that he had passed, picture and everything. And I was like, holy crap. I just remember being like, holy crap, that's cool. Like there's a guy who did what I did, which isn't easy. And turned around to have like attribute it to me. Like, obviously he did it, but the thought that he would think of me enough to go, hey man, I loved your program. Thank you for prepping me for this. And I just remember the rewarding feeling. Like I remember just being kind of elated by that. And I felt like what I was doing like really started to matter. So I just kept plugging in at that. And I realized like, that's what I love to do. Like I make jokes about it sometimes,
of course.
Like whenever I'm doing my live chats or I'll put out a video that's focused on fitness and somebody will be like, hey, what boots can I wear at RASP? Guys just want to know RASP and Ranger specific stuff. And I became the guy for that. So,
dude, it's really cool when you share those screenshots, and you have a lot of them, of people saying, dude, thank you. Because of you, I made it into Ranger School, or I made it through Ranger School or whatever. It's really cool to see that stuff, man. Yeah.
And there's some I haven't even put up yet. Like, I used to upload every single one to the website. Now there's a ton that I need to upload. I mean, I've gotten, it's crazy. I mean, it's just like, it's a crazy, cool, rewarding feeling. And it goes back to what we were saying at the very beginning of this podcast. It's like, what I'm doing isn't just a little impact. Like I'm watching some of these guys totally transform their bodies. I'm motivating these people enough to transform their entire bodies. Of course, they're doing all the work and it's amazing, but to plug it into the brand is just like, I'm doing something that matters.
Yeah.
Like, man, the feeling is incredible.
It's the same feeling with Warriors Next Adventure, man. Like, I have veterans call me at their worst times, and the joy that I get out of this nonprofit, I don't get paid. I'll never get paid from Warriors Next Adventure ever. And you're a business. I'm a nonprofit. It's completely different. So it's okay that you're getting paid. You should get paid. You should get paid more in my eyes. But whatever. I'm never going to stop telling you that. But no, like the joy and satisfaction that I get out of it, I get to watch veterans literally transform their life and start living better lives and posting better things on Facebook and, being nicer people, but also like becoming successful in whatever path that they decide. But overcoming that mental health challenge, right? That's my favorite thing to watch, is because they did all the work. They're the ones that are coming to me, reaching out, saying, "Hey, I need help. I need to get over this this hump in the road." And, all I do is I just give them the tools, and then I show them how to use the tools, right? But they're the ones that do all of the work. And so watching somebody transform themselves because of a conversation that you had, or because of your programs, there's nothing more rewarding than seeing somebody make their life better because of you being in it, right? Yeah, they're doing all the work, but still, it's a really good feeling to be a part of that. If you really want to improve your life, help somebody else, because there's nothing more rewarding than seeing somebody improve because of a conversation.
Yeah, and that's really, that's a great point. Doing something impactful and that matters. Whenever I started focusing on the success of other people, and I think that's what's rare about you too, is, I told you this before, it's very rare that you meet somebody who legitimately gives a shit about other people. And, like, I think that's a big part of like being fulfilled in life, is it's not about you. Like, yeah, to an extent, there's some fulfillment, that you could do for yourself that'll make you feel good and things like that. But whenever you give to others, I mean, to me, that's unmatched. That's why
it feels good, man. I mean, I call it a healthy selfishness.
Yeah,
because I get to steal a little part of that, but people succeed because of it,
Of course.
So,
yeah, what you do is amazing. And we talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again. In my family, I had a younger cousin who was like a little brother to me, who committed suicide. And it really, that really bothered me. And it's why I talk about mental health so much and what I do, now. I'd seen other guys commit suicide and things, but to have you reach out and helping people on that matter, I mean, you really devote so much of yourself to it. And I know that's taxing, but man, you're amazing for it. And
Thanks, man.
It's like a personal thing for me. It means a lot to me that, you're changing people's lives like in a crazy way. So it's amazing.
All right, man. It's like I've told people who have had, personal conversations with me, I was talking today, during my mental health struggles, I pushed so many people out. I shut out everybody. And I mean, because I was safe, right? Because then I didn't have to own up to anything, because nobody knew, because I just hide it inside myself. And eventually got to the point where I just said, screw it, and tried to kill myself. And lucky for me, I suck at killing myself. So that's nice. But I realized I didn't think that the person who could have pulled that gun into my hands, I didn't think they existed. So I wanted to create that person, become that person, and I mean, look where I am now. It's crazy, what you can do when you manifest a positive future and you actually truly want to live a better life. Because I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've experienced in life. I don't care what you're going through right now. If you want to change, you can, physically or mentally. There's nothing stopping you. Obviously there's certain things like brain injuries, and there's obviously going to be other factors, but for the most part, most people can change if they desire to. So it's nice knowing other people who are involved in that kind of change, that kind of process, you on the physical side. But imagine what you're doing for these people mentally as well, right? Because when you go work out and then you eventually start seeing the changes, man, it feels so good. That's one of my biggest things is working out, is because like I know about the endorphin releases. I know about the neurotransmitters that you're firing when you actually go work out, because there's, not only endorphins, but serotonin, dopamine, all these things that we need to be happy. And you can literally trick yourself into, ending your depression and being happy by literally going to the gym and putting in a workout. You do it every day for a month. Tell me that you don't feel better, because I guarantee you will, And I don't always enjoy working out, man. Half the time I'm on my phone. I'm that dickhead sitting on the machine looking at my phone, right? I'm still working out, but during my rest periods, I'm either talking to somebody online or I'm looking for a veteran who needs help because I need help, right? And that's my way of helping myself, is helping other people. So it feels good to give back, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. It's a great feeling.
Yeah. No, it's the greatest. So, so when did you end up bringing your partner in, Tony, right? James Tony.
Tony came in officially in August, and you can see the shift. Like if you had somebody who had been following along, there was a point in it. If I'm being quite honest, there's a point where I was getting a little burnt out in a way where I was like, man, I don't know where to go from here. Like it was great in the sense that the business kept growing, but I was feeling like I would start second guessing myself, or I'd be like, oh, I'm doing this wrong. Like you said, I'm very hard on myself. So, so it was just like I didn't really know where to go next. So when I pulled him in, to have somebody with a different vision to bounce ideas off of, to be like, hey, whatever, I have a idea that's stupid, and be like, hey man, let's refine that, and so it's great, and it's James. So really what he says is that's stupid. He's like, let's do it this way. So he's an asshole.
I got a couple guys in my nonprofit like that for a reason, because they're going to call me a moron if I'm doing something stupid.
That's great, man. It's great, man. He's exactly what I needed at the exact time that I needed him. So pulled him in and just started really going in a really good direction. You could tell the energy changed. The content started cranking out. That's when after the move and stuff, because we had the move and everything, so that kind of slowed some things down. But once I got settled, we were pushing out videos, right?
Yep.
I say once we got settled, I'm still moving stuff. I feel like I've been moving stuff since September. But I mean, when I'm not moving stuff, I'd come in and push out content. Yeah, there's some of the transformations I see.
Dude, some of these transformations are amazing.
Yeah.
So for those of you listening on the radio, if you go to the YouTube or Facebook, you can see the video and some of these transformations some of these guys sent. Like this one in the middle. Holy shit, that's amazing.
That guy is still transforming. He's actually got an updated picture. He's probably lost 20, 30 pounds since then. I mean, he looks great.
He looks like a different person.
All these guys, but that guy in itself, like if nobody else and that guy attributed his success to me, this was a win.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you're shredded too, man. Like all these people, I tell them like, this guy's just jacked.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
I'm jealous, man. I got that burger bump, man. I'll never have a six pack. I enjoy burgers and pizza too much. Well, that's what you say. Like, so, okay. So like one of the most common asked questions in the workout world is, how do I get a six pack? Am I right? The majority of it has to do with what you're eating.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I dove into the nutrition programs, and I tell people that it's like you can. When I realized, how big the dietary changes were, that's what I started pushing all the time. Not to get too far down the rabbit hole, but I had some digestive health issues, and so it caused me to. This is a couple of years ago. It caused me to totally. Change the way that I looked at diet. I started doing heavy research into it. And this is before I was a nutrition coach. I became a nutrition coach after the fact. And not only did I notice my activity didn't even really change, but my body changed whenever I changed my diet. I didn't change anything about the way I was working out. But when I changed my diet, my mood, my performance was totally drastically different. And I was like, holy crap, this is where it's at. So what I tell people is realistically, it's hard to put a percentage on these things, but realistically, if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say anywhere from, I'm going to go 80% diet, 20% training. The diet is where you're going to make the biggest, and I don't say that to take away from training. Like, of course, go in there, train vigorously, but your diet, that is your medicine. I heard somebody say one time, eat your food as medicine, so you don't eat your medicine as food.
Yeah, I like hearing that.
Yeah, is it the illnesses that we have in America, the obesity problem, heart problems, diabetes? This is all from our diet. Our food is medicine. You think about what is medicine? It's introducing chemicals to your body, right? We do the same thing whenever we eat food. It's the exact same thing. And what those medicines do a lot of the time is they're attacking deficiencies. So. Yeah, I think, not to get too far out of my lane, but nutrition is huge. Yeah. So, what I tell those guys is eat low to the earth, eat a diet higher in fiber, eat more, especially vegetables. I have about 2 servings of fruit a day, and drink a lot of water. Like cut the alcohol, cut the energy drinks. You do that alone, you're going to start seeing some drastic changes. Cut the monsters. It's funny, dude.
I
Because
gotta
I
stop
actually,
drinking that shit, man. It's so
I
bad
used,
for you.
I totally get it. I used to drink those all the time, and I got to the point where I was drinking like 4 a day. You
Holy
know,
crap!
yeah, it was not cool.
Suppose your
there's-
heart didn't beat out of your chest.
it might have, but it's back in there. So yeah, cutting that alone, the energy drinks, I noticed changes, and
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So
I was having some really bad issues in the summer. Like I had like anxiety attacks, panic attacks. I went to the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack.
Yep.
And I hadn't drank any energy drinks that day, and so I didn't connect the two, right? And so I didn't realize how bad it was doing it. So it really screwed me up, right? I got some other things going on. Like I go to the mental health at the VA and stuff like that. If you're not seeing a therapist, you should be seeing a therapist because, you know, even if you're not crazy, they put some things in perspective for you. So we need to start normalizing therapy, right? Not bragging about it, but it's okay. Nothing wrong with it. I consider myself an alpha male. I consider myself a good person. I consider myself a smart person, but I also go to therapy and they make me feel better. So
yeah,
there's
I
my
did.
therapy rant for the show.
I did for a time too, and I'm not opposed to that at all. I really needed it. There was a guy
Yeah,
who
it's
changed.
helpful.
He changed my. Honestly, he changed my life in like one session. I'd been to a couple sessions before, but there was one guy in particular. The things that he identified within me, I was like, holy shit! Like I just never looked at it like that, and it's crazy what a conversation can do. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not opposed to that at all. You know, they'll show you things about yourself that you had never thought of. So it's
One
totally,
conversation can shift the perspective. You know, with Warriors Next Adventure, eventually down the road, I want to do a crisis intervention team where I can actually fly out to these people. You know, and I was like, well, you know, I don't know. We should get the police involved. The police don't always know what to do. Okay. I'm not anti-cop. I worked for the state patrol for 8 years. I was a cop in the military. So I'm not anti-law enforcement at all. I very much support the police, but they're not always trained, right? They're dealing with criminals consistently, right? They need to focus on that, you know, and that's why I decided to start doing the crisis intervention for Warriors Next Adventure. And like I've said multiple times, we've hit 79 calls on our suicide hotline, and 79 of them are still alive. So we're doing something right. It's probably the only thing that I'll ever brag about. But I'm proud of that. And it's to the point where one conversation can literally shift somebody's perspective, you know, and one aha moment is all it takes to get somebody to change their life. But you have to hold on to that, right? You can't just hear something and be like, oh, my life's going to change. You need to do the work as well, right? But there's been a couple times. Do you know the story about JRR Tolkien in Lord of the Rings? So, okay, nerd talk for a minute. I used to use Frodo from Lord of the Rings as an example of how veterans feel all the time, right? Think about it like this. He's in like this safe little area called the Shire, right? And he goes on this crazy adventure, and he's got a group of friends that he's super close to, and they all have this same mission. And their mission is to drop that ring off, you know, at the mountain, you know, and then they go through all these crazy adventures. They lose friends, people get killed. And then at the end, next thing you know, they're safe again in the Shire, and everything's safe, and there's no more adventure. There's no more mystery. There's no more adventure. And he's writing this book, Fellowship of the Rings. And at the end of the movie, he ends up leaving. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Lord of the Rings yet, it's not my fault. So he ends up leaving Middle Earth because he says there's nothing else here for me. And I felt that pain. It's like, God, that's how I feel a lot about the military. Like there's a quote that he said, you know, how do we pick up the threads of an old life when you know that there's no going back? We're not going back to war, right? I mean, unless we get invaded or something, I don't know. But the chances of us going back to the war are pretty slim. But that story, I used it all the time to explain it, right? And so the backstory is JRR Tolkien was actually I believe it was World War II, right? Don't quote me. It's World War I and World War II. I'm sorry. Please correct me. Please let me know. I'm going to look at it after the show. But what he ended up doing was he wrote the Lord of the Rings as therapy to help himself deal with everything that he went through because he lost friends at war. He went, right? The the dark arts and all that, the seeing eye and everything was like Hitler and all the people that he was fighting in the war, and his therapy was writing the story. And I'm like, it makes so much sense. And the reason why I tell this story is my therapist explained this to me. I didn't know that about JRR Tolkien. I've been using this example for years, and it puts so much into perspective, and it makes so much more sense. So now, thank you, JRR Tolkien, World War One. Thanks, Jenny. And it just makes more sense now, and it put things into perspective for me. And it's like, God, we need more adventure, right? He leaves Middle Earth because he needs more adventure, right? And so the reason why Warrior's Next Adventure is called Warrior's Next Adventure is we need to know what the next adventure is in life. We need something else. The three things that we help with: sense of purpose, adventure, and camaraderie, right? And so what I get with you is the camaraderie aspect, but also sending people to you because I know that you're going to take care of them. With the fitness program, I tell people all the time to go check out your stuff, especially the ones that will, I don't have access to a gym. Like, well, he's got a program for bodyweight exercises, so go check him out. So it's good to have connections like you, and everybody else in the veteran community. So you're doing really good work, man. I love your stuff. What would be the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Well, thank you for all that. And to get a hold of me, go to my website, www.trainlikearanger.com. I have links to all my social media there. As of right now, during this podcast, I would say I'm largest on Instagram, second largest on YouTube. If you guys could go check me out on those two platforms, that'd be great. We also have a Facebook and a Twitter. And people keep telling me I need to get a TikTok. I do have one. I have not posted much to it.
Hey, we got a TikTok too. It's just fun videos.
Yeah, we're trying to find criteria for that. So we'll do the TikTok thing within reason. So we'll update it on the website. So I think that website's a great hub to find what all that we have done.
And what are the ranges of the prices of some of your programs?
So a lot of the programs are $39.99. You get to the nutrition programs, they're $49.99. And then the big program, the one that I like to recommend the most as far as fitness, is the TLR Warrior program. It's a 6-month program. We offer it in both month. You can pay month by month, or you can buy out the full program. But the amount of work I put into that program, like you've seen some of my other programs, the Warrior program is those on steroids, right? Nice. I'm not promoting steroids, by the way. But the TLR Warrior program is a great program. And I would push that to a lot of people. I mean, That's of work put in. So.
All right, guys, everybody go check him out. I'm going to drop you off. Don't go anywhere. I just need to do my closing, and we'll talk after the show, okay?
Awesome.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate everybody for listening today. Go check out our Patreon. Is Patreon.com/Veterans Action Report. It's $5 a month to get access to additional information, additional shows. What we end up doing is most episodes end up going long. We end at the 54 mark and we'll finish off over on Patreon. Again, $5 a month. It helps us pay our bills and everything like that. Again, go check out warriorsnextadventure.com. Veteran nonprofit help veterans with crisis intervention, suicide prevention, but we also have Wolf Sanctuary. We have JiuJitsu. We just got sponsored by Rip It for our race cars, which I'm pretty excited about that. Go check out Houses for Warriors. Andrew runs Houses for Warriors over in Colorado, and they're doing amazing things, doing remodels for veterans who are injured and also helping veterans get into homes. They also have a group home, which I visited, and all of the veterans there are extremely grateful for him. I talked to them. They're really good people, and they just all homeless veterans need is, a hand up, not a handout. And Houses for Warriors does a really good job for that. I love those guys. Love Andrew. Again, go check out Daniel Burnett at Train Like a Ranger. This episode is brought to you by X22 Adventures. Go check out x22adventures.org. Check out their Facebook and Instagram as well. Steve's a great guy. Love you guys. Thanks for listening. We'll talk soon.
Perfect.